Welcome to Industry on Blast, the podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey into the hidden depths of secrets, deception, and untold stories. Hosted by Dr. Marlene Carson, a fearless advocate and survivor, this show is your gateway to the shocking truths and captivating narratives that lie beneath the surface. Get ready to unveil the secrets of the industry and hear from special guests who have experienced it firsthand. This is Industry on Blast.
Welcome to Industry on Blast. My name is Dr. Marlene Carson, and I am your host. I am super excited today to have a very special guest with us. Let me just tell you a little bit about her before I make the actual introduction. This guest was married with 5 children before she was 21. She was married to a very abusive husband, very violent man. She was in a car accident, which led to the findings of a tumor. She had a CT scan on her head, which led to the findings of a tumor. As a result of that tumor, she had paralysis in her eyes, and her eyes had to have weights on her eyes. And we'll get her to tell you a little bit more about that. She's also a breast cancer survivor, yet she's been at The Ohio State University for over 25 years. Now, you would think this would happen to an older woman. You would think like, wow, how did she survive all that? And I remember receiving a phone call from a professor at Ohio State saying, is this person your cousin? And did this really happen to her? And I said, every single thing she said happened to her has definitely happened to her. I'd like for you to help me welcome my special guest, Shelly Martin.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
You doing good? Here. Thank you. I'm super excited to have you here today. I kind of let the cat out the bag that we are related, but I wanted to say that because I am absolutely so proud of us. It's just amazing how, in our family, we see cycles breaking. You know what I'm saying? We see, oh yeah, girl, don't even get me started because I'll be the shouter right now. Okay, It don't take much. Yes. I'm so extremely proud of you and the accomplishments that you have. We want to hear about it. Tell us, how did you marry with 5 kids before 21 to an abusive husband? Tell us your journey.
Yeah. So I was one of those teenagers who got teased a lot because I wasn't a very attractive teenager. I had acne real bad and my hair was a mess. So I got teased a lot. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of abuse, even as a teenager in school. Ended up with the wrong man, I remember being on a bus one time and I met a guy and I told him I was older than I was. And he told me he was younger than he was. And that ended up that first relationship. Somebody actually saw me as cute. At least that's what he said.
Okay.
So that started that journey, and ended up marrying a man that started out nice, but just years of physical abuse. There was a room in my house that I had to keep covered up because I got abused in that corner all the time. Right. So just one time that he decided he went off. And I decided I wasn't going to that corner. So I ran outside. It was snowing. And he chased me with a knife and cut me several times, on my hands with that knife. But I was determined I wasn't going to get beat in that corner anymore. I didn't make it outside, and the kids were there. That's the hard part about that whole abusive story.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you have gone through that. And I'm going to say, sometimes when we tell these stories, I sometimes have the struggle with, did you have to go that route to get to where you are today? And whether you did it, because I struggle with that. I always struggle with that with my own trafficking story. Like, Lord, you could have just gave me another testimony for real, because to go through all that, to be here, while I'm grateful, but it was hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Marlene, it was hard, but through God's grace, I am such a strong Black woman.
You won't have to tell me because I know.
I'm such a strong, and I look at you, we're such strong Black women, and I wonder, could we have gotten there if it wasn't for the journey?
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I fought the lion, I fought the tiger. Come on, bear.
Okay.
So I'm more
than with 5 smooth stones. Okay.
Yes.
Come on, Goliath. Because we still can take you down. That's a fact.
That's right.
But today you are doing amazing things at Ohio State. No, let me correct that. At the Ohio State University.
Absolutely.
For 25 years as an employee and as a student, correct? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So I've been in multiple roles at Ohio State. I started clinical as an aide. And then I worked my way up to teaching. I started out as a PCA, then I worked teaching PCAs. And then I worked in administration over entry-level staff. And I realized that I was firing a lot of people because they weren't coming to work.
Wow.
You find out they weren't coming to work because of social determinants of health. So what I did was I created a center called the Employee Resource Center, where we now have an on-site food pantry. We have social workers that assess employees, because we got the working poor. So they assess our employees to see what their needs are, and we connect them with resources. So it's the most rewarding job that I have ever had, to be able to meet those needs, to help people to advance and to maintain their jobs.
Shelly, that's absolutely amazing. Something else I didn't say that I'm sure you're very proud of. I think you're also a grandmother.
I am actually a grandmother. We have my husband and I have 25 grandchildren and 2 great grandchildren.
Whoa.
Yes. So we have 8 children, 25. And then, yes, we have a large family.
That is absolutely beautiful. Yes. So here at Ohio State, you told us about the program you created, but I recall you're doing something right now too that's pretty freaking amazing. You got your associates?
I got no associates. I have a bachelor's in comparative studies.
Okay.
I have a master's in education.
Wait a minute. From Ohio State?
Yes.
All from Ohio State. So go ahead.
From Ohio State. Yes. Mm-hmm. So my bachelor's is in comparative studies, and my master's is in education with an emphasis on workforce development. And I just entered into a PhD program in education.
Girl, don't tell me we not bad, okay?
Yes. And listen, this all stems from a high school dropout.
Come on.
A high school dropout, dropped out in the 12th grade, and then obtained a GED. And Ohio State there's not a lot of research to show of anyone to go straight from a GED to a bachelor's without going to a career, another school like a Columbus State, and getting an associate's and then transferring on. You don't typically go from a GED straight to Ohio State.
My goodness.
But God opens doors.
But God. So with this journey, what would you say to women that are in a domestic violence situation and can't see their way out?
That is really interesting, because I was in darkness for so long.
My goodness.
So long. And
how long were you with him?
We were for 7 years of physical abuse. 7 years.
My goodness.
And it wasn't until that day when I really don't have I've got an answer, but the answer that I should have, I don't have. But my answer was, and what helped me was, I prayed. I said, God, either remove him or remove me. I didn't have the strength or power or wisdom to get out. I didn't.
Yeah, I get that.
So God had to do. I couldn't do it.
So with that even being said, I just think that women should not beat themselves up for not having an answer. Would you agree?
I still don't have an answer.
Come on.
I still don't. Because people say just leave. It's not
that simple.
It's not that. And if I had the power to change it, I would have. That's why the only way it happened was with God's help. God moved him. I would have stayed, because I'm thinking about my kids. I don't have enough self-esteem to make the decisions mentally. And I didn't have the finances to do it. So I would have stayed. Even though family is saying, get out, we'll help you. Agencies are out there, all of that. I couldn't have done it without God.
You said something in your beginning intro, and I just want to comment on that, because I look at you during those days, and I never saw the person that you described. I never saw the ugly person, the act. I never saw that. I saw my cousin that's beautiful in my eyes. I never saw that person you described, but I know how it is to be those words getting into your ear gate and how it tears you down. And then you have this guy coming and your self-esteem is torn down and everything just seems like, this is just my plot. You know what I'm, this is my plight in life. But God had another plan.
Yes, he did. It blows my mind what God is doing in my life. He said he'll open up the windows, and the blessings are not always, monetary or it's
it don't even
windows being open. They come in all kinds of different ways. It's just blows my mind, just the relationship with God through this whole journey. I can do all things through Christ.
And that's
real. I truly believe with faith and works. And a lot of people just lean on faith without any works. You ain't going nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere.
Without faith, you ain't going anywhere. So you got to put in the work. Marlene, you know about this. We don't get a lot of sleep. We're doing a lot.
We definitely don't get a lot of sleep. That's for sure. But I will say that it's showing and it's paying off. And I'm sure that your children, you have to be an inspiration to them, to the family, to everybody. I'm telling you, when that professor called me from Ohio State, she was like, this girl got to be lying. She really could not believe it. And I think there was some conversation where she found out we were related. And she got right on the phone. She was like, is this true? She could not believe it.
I think, and people, when you tell them, when I say I've been homeless, they're like, you're making that up. I'm like, no, this is the truth. They put the sticker on and we had to be out. Like, this is real. So, we don't look like what we've been through, but we have a story. I have a story. And I want to be able to help someone else that's going through that, to show them me. To show them the mom that's looking at her unruly child right now and giving up on them and thinking they can't. I want them to look at me. To look at their kid that drops out of school. I want them to look at me. It's possible.
It's possible. How does your mom feel right now, Shelly?
Oh my goodness, she's my biggest cheerleader.
I'm sure.
She's my biggest cheerleader. Her and my dad, they're so proud. I was that unruly child. I was an off the hook child. I was emancipated when I was 16 and a half. So so went through that.
That is so crazy, because I just can't, looking at you now, it's like I'm almost like she lied, and I know it's the truth. I know it's the truth, but it's like, look what the Lord has done.
Yes.
Look what the Lord has done for anyone who feels like you're in a hopeless situation, who feel like you don't want to go on because of the situation that you're in right now. But you're looking at your children and you're looking at your life and you don't want to give it up, but you need an answer. And I'm telling you, someone asked me the other day, when it comes to survivors of trafficking, they said, why do you think you have been able to heal? This is their words. You've been able to heal the way that you have, and some survivors never get to that point. And you said something that's absolutely true. First of all, you got to put the work in. You have to put the work in. And I don't mean just like a job, a career, a business. Let me tell you something, Shelly. I remember when I first met the Lord. Well, I shouldn't say first met the Lord. When I first started going to church for real, okay? Because, we raised in church, okay?
Yes.
So that wasn't even an option. But when I really started seeking the Lord for myself, I remember going to church, and we had service on Sunday, Wednesday, choir rehearsal Friday, and was probably just hanging out on Saturday. But every time I went in that church for the first 3 years, they said I had carpet ministry because I would lay prostrate at the altar for 3 years straight.
Wow.
For 3 years straight. And so I was so determined. I didn't have my mind. I couldn't think for myself. This man had been thinking for me all these years, and I only did what he said do, because if I didn't, I was going to get beat. So you only do what he says do. And so when it comes to like even the situation you're in, how did you get the resilience, the tenacity, your comeback? How did all that happen?
Yeah. So, I think there's a couple parts to that too. One, I had strong parents. So I had a two-parent household. My parents, very loving and supportive. And I think that is I had a good example of a healthy family. So I think that is what's lacking in a lot of families right now. But then also, I developed a passion for Christ. Like, so when in my struggling times, I would look for. Back then, there was a lot of noonday prayers at church.
Yes, yes.
So I would take my lunch break and go find a noonday prayer. I would do fasting, and I would fast like never before. Like, so drawing me closer to Him helped me to do that. And just being taught, I was under a pastor. Pastor Malone taught me work ethics. Like, he showed up before. Like, being on time is late for me.
Period.
So you're not gonna catch me not prepared. You're not gonna catch me late. I wake up in the morning. I give myself affirmations.
Okay.
I do prayer. I tell myself, you are beautiful. You are smart. Because let me tell you, in this PhD program, and these little smart young kids, you will not feel as smart. So I have to wake up and I tell myself how beautiful I am, how smart I am. I'm a great mother. I tell all that. I do my scriptures and I walk. I do my exercise in the morning. Okay. So just different things I do to help me.
Yeah.
And to believe what I don't believe sometimes.
Come on. Yeah. But
But
that's a good answer, even for the woman, for the person who was trying to find her way. Exactly what you just said. You got to start speaking to yourself. You got to. You got to dream again. What do you want? Like, we're so I ask women today, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. What you up to? Oh, nothing. Well, that can't be your answer. No.
You can't tell me in this life that I'm not up to anything. No, I got a whole list of things I'm working on right now. And the plate is full and God is just balancing it all out for me. And I'm just grateful. I want to leave a legacy.
Yes.
God's been so good. So many things have happened. Negative, positive, but I got to live and work while it's day, because night's coming. Night's coming.
It's coming.
So while it's day, but just trying to, it was a struggle through all that time, but I had strong family. My family was strong. I have an amazing husband who supports my growth.
Yes, you do.
That helps.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I also remember hearing that he wanted to marry you so bad. That how did he get your ring, your first ring? How did he get that ring?
He bought the first ring from is it a buy here? Not a buy here.
A Rent-A-Center.
A Rent-A-Center. He bought it from Rent-A-Center. I don't know if they still sell rings, but he bought it from Rent-A-Center and was so happy to bring it home.
I love that. I love that about him. I mean, that's to me, and even for you, your heart, it wasn't about the rock on your finger. No. It wasn't about none of that. It was about the love in your hearts and sharing your lives and living your lives together. So that, let me tell you something. I think, and then look where y'all at now. Yeah. He don't have to go to Rent-A-Center today. Okay. No. He sure don't have to do that today. No. But to be able to, he couldn't have had I don't care. I'm going to get this ring.
Yeah. He did. It was funny. And when I found that receipt, because he didn't tell me he got it from Rent-A-Center. I found the receipt and I'm like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, girl, I love it. No, I love it. So many women today wouldn't take that ring from a Rent-A-Center. So many women that's chasing the bag.
They wouldn't even take that man that worked at the pizza shop. So he worked at a pizza shop. They wouldn't take that man.
No, and you might miss out on something, because I'm telling you, he ain't flipping pizzas today.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. You said something, Shelly, that's a big deal to me, and I just want to expound on it. You said dream. And I remember I lost my dreams. I didn't know what they were anymore. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even recall. I had dreams for other people where I saw other people going, but for myself, I lost my dreams. And I remember being in a friend's house. Him and his wife had invited me over. And when I walked out the door, I heard dream again. I'm like, who said that? Like, what's going on? I heard dream again. And so I go back the next day and I hear it again. I'm like, wait a minute. And I remember just cuddling on my bed, crying that night because I said, I don't remember my dreams. I don't know. I felt like I literally had none. And so I began to ask God, restore my dreams. I don't even know what they are, but God, please help me. Because, you know, the scripture teaches us without a vision, the people perish. And one translation says, without a vision, the people run wild. And so having that dream is having a vision for your life. Try to get a glimpse. If you can't hold on to nothing else, try to hold on to what God has said about your life that you can aspire to, that you can work towards. Shelly also mentioned that hard work, putting in that work, putting in that time, investing in you. How about that? You know, Shelly, how much professional and personal development had you had, or have you had now?
Oh, so, you know, I've been pretty blessed with opportunities for professional development throughout the years. A lot. I've spoken at conferences all over, just given the opportunity to grow and develop and to be mentored and have sponsors. So I think, you know, people pouring into me, good and bad. So there's been good and there's bad, but I learned from all of it. I've learned from all of it. So yeah, there's been a lot of those opportunities, you know, and I've read all the development books, but I've learned, for me, getting taught by God is the most valuable lesson. Because sometimes God will just tell me, shut up.
Okay.
Shut up. You're not reading that in the book, but God will say, you know, so just learning from him is the ultimate lesson.
I totally agree. I'm actually, well, I haven't started. I just purchased a book yesterday called The Speed of Trust. The Speed of Trust. It's by Stephen Covey's son, you know, the time management guy, right?
Yeah.
And so this book is on relationships and business. And you just said some of your professional development has been good and bad. How do you get through it, or how do you process it when you've had a bad experience? Because I would imagine, for real, we all gonna have them. That's just life, okay? And we just cannot think that we're going to walk through this life through a flowery bed of ease and everything is going to come up roses. That's just not realistic. So do you prepare for the bad? Not even expecting different, but how do you prepare for it? And if you don't prepare for it, how can you process it once it's happened? Because what I don't want to happen is for people to look for a mentor, to look for professional development, or to look to be discipled, even from pastors, and find out it's all a game.
Right. So there's a lot of bad apples out there in all arenas, whether it's church or especially in corporate. So speaking in corporate, I suffered from racial battle fatigue.
Wow.
So if you don't know it, it's a real illness.
Wow.
It comes from all the biases and abuse that happens on a racial level. And it happens all the time. Just last week, one of my leaders sent me a response, said, "Did you write this or did somebody else?" I'm like, I'm a PhD student. You asked me, did I write it? But her bias is saying, you're young, but you can't write like this.
You can't write like this. I get it.
So just little things like that, they still happen. They still happen to this day. So you have to identify them. And listen, I've tried all kinds of things. I've grown to the point. I take it to the Lord in prayer and leave it there. Not my battle to fight.
That's true.
Because I can't win it. Because then what happens is I respond and my response comes out as angry Black woman.
Yep, I
Because
girl, I get it.
of the racial
get
battle fatigue.
Mm-hmm,
Because of the battle fatigue. So I
mm-hmm.
take it to God in prayer, leave it there, then it comes back in love and kindness.
I have to be realistic with this next question, because the fact of the matter is everybody don't know Jesus.
It's true.
And everybody is not Christian. And
That's
everyone,
right.
you know what I'm saying? And
That's right.
so they have to have ways. You know, one of the things I believe in working with traffic victims is I'm gonna meet you where you at.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet you where you at. And it doesn't matter to me where you are. I've had this one lady, she called me and she said, I want to volunteer at your program. She said, but you probably won't let me. And I said, why? I don't even know you. She said, but I'm an atheist. I said, okay. So why won't I let you? She said, you gonna let me volunteer? And I'm like, girl, come on. And so when she came, even in our program, we don't preach Jesus. We live him.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna see the love every single day.
Right.
But we don't do any of those things. So one day I was teaching a class, and this is like she had been there maybe 3 months, and I was teaching a class, and I was giving a testimony. She said, "Thank you, Jesus," and she put her hand over her mouth real quick, like she didn't mean to say "Thank you, Jesus," because she the atheist that don't want nobody to know she believes in Jesus. Right. We and the whole class bust out laughing. I'm like, don't point at her, don't do anything. Just let her be in her moment. You know what I'm saying? She got to process all that herself.
Right.
And when she gets to a point where she's ready to tell her truth, she'll tell her truth. But I realize that everybody's not there. And so with that being said, what can they do to get there?
Yeah. And that's interesting that you say that. So I have a business called Shell Talk for You, where I do a lot of consultations.
What's your website?
I'm not using a website,
okay.
But I'll share you the information. Because I am working full time, I get so much response from my business that I can't afford.
I get it. And you're a student right now. I get it.
I can't do it that high.
I get it.
But I do speaking engagements when I have time. But I'll share the information. I lost my track. What was I saying?
I'm sorry. I was saying, how can they get there without knowing Christ?
Okay, right. Mm-hmm. So in my business, I don't talk Christ. It comes out, but I don't use that in corporate or through the business part. But just life, a lot of times, a lot of the situations we're in, we just have to learn how to walk away. Mm-hmm. Don't let them see you sweat. Like, why are you giving them that part of you?
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And actually, you choose what part of you want them to see or not see. So I'm learning these lessons. So telling some of them, and also in 2 months I'll be a certified life coach.
Okay.
So just learning the tools from that, how to coach people to reach their own potential, and they do it themselves. You just coach them along.
Yes.
So I think that's very valuable, and just helping somebody to open up to the possibilities.
You know what? I too am a certified life coach. And when you see that flower blossom in that way, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yes.
It really is a beautiful thing. We have 2 minutes.
Oh.
Any final comments? Anything you want to share?
I'm thankful for you and the opportunity to share some of my story, and to just to be two Black women that are overcomers, that are living life, because you can live and not be living life. So just be living life, and just being able to share the journey. So I'm appreciative of you for that. And I just want to say thank you.
You're very, very welcome. I am absolutely honored to share this moment with you. I also think that when do you graduate with your PhD, doctor?
Yeah, so right now I've got some parents that are going through some journeys, so I've slowed the pace down a little bit. So I've got probably about another 4 years. So I got to take the journey slow. It's about work-life balance and my own well-being. Yeah, so it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. I was just going to say, we're going to come back and celebrate you again. I don't care if it's 4 years, 5 years, or 10. If the Lord stay the same, we will be right back here on Industry on Blast, celebrating you. All right. Thank you, Shelly. Until next time, again, my name is Dr. Marlene Carson. I'm your host of Industry on Blast. And we will see you on the next one.
All right.
That concludes another mind-blowing episode of Industry on Blast. Thank you for joining us on this riveting exploration of the industry secrets. Be sure to subscribe and never miss an episode as we continue to unveil the truth. Visit our website at www.blastnetwork.com to catch up on previous episodes and stay connected. If you have a story to share or are interested in becoming a sponsor or guest, we want to hear from you. Together, we can ignite change and create a world free from the shadows. This is Industry on Blast, signing off. Keep shining a